Hello students. Today I am going to discuss placement of various items in cash flow statement. Now I am going to discuss with you format of cash flow statement. You can see total 3 columns are there. The first one is of particulars, then we have gross amount, and the last is of net amount. Okay. So the first activity which I am going to discuss is operating activities. Operating activities has total 4 parts. In the first part, we find out net profit before tax and extraordinary item. But calculation related to this net profit we will do in more straight parts. And whatever will be the net amount we will post here in gross amount column. Okay. Now in second part some of the items we have to add. And the items are depreciation, interest on bank loan or debentures, amortized intangible assets like goodwill, patents, copyrights, etc., loss on the sale of fixed assets, and increase in provision for doubtful debts. Certain items we subtract also here. And the items are profit on the sale of fixed assets, interest on investment, rent received or dividend received, decrease in provision for doubtful debts. But you have to remember whatever items we will deduct here or wherever in cash flow statement we have to put that amount in bracket. So you can see all the 4 items I have shown in brackets. Okay. Now whatever will be the net result of second part, you please take out the item here, the amount here in gross amount column. And the amount will be called operating profit before working capital changes. Children, please remember, if the result will be positive, you write on figure as it is. But if the result will be negative, you put in bracket here. Okay. Now in the third part, we are going to show effect of working capital. Working capital is current assets minus current liabilities. If the value of assets will increase from previous to current year, these will be added. Similarly, if the value of assets will decrease from previous year to current year, will be added here. Okay. Now what do we subtract? Exactly vice versa. Suppose if the values of liabilities will decrease from previous year to current year, we will subtract here. Or if the value of assets will increase from previous year to current year, we will subtract here. And in case of subtraction, as I suggested to you earlier also, that you have to put the amount in bracket. Okay. Now whatever will be the result of these 2 items, we bring out here in gross amount column. And if the result will be positive, write on as it is, otherwise in brackets. And this amount will be called cash generated from operations. Now the fourth part, where we will deduct income tax, and because we are deducting here, we are subtracting here, the amount will come in bracket. Okay. Now all the 4 parts we have solved in gross amount, we have bring out here the net amounts. Okay. Now whatever will be the net result, that will come in net amount column. Again the same thing. If the result will be positive, write on as it is. But if the result will be negative, write on this figure in bracket. Okay. Now see, if your result will be positive, you will mention here cash flow from operating activity. And if the result will be negative, you will write on cash used in operating activity. Alright. Now we are going to start with investing activities. So first of all, we will add here sale of fixed assets, interest received on investment, rent received or dividend received. And what do we less then? We less purchase of fixed assets. Children, usually I will suggest you that in case of investing activities for fixed assets, you always have to go for ledger account. Okay, that I will discuss in my next video. Alright, and because purchase of fixed assets we are subtracting, so the figure is coming in bracket. Okay, now whatever will be the net result of investing activities, you write on that figure here in net amount column. And if the result will be positive, again write on as it is, otherwise the figure will come in brackets. Now see, what do you write down if the result will be positive? You will write down cash flow from investing activity. And if the result will be negative, you will write down cash used in investing activity. I hope till investing activity it is clear to you. Now I am going to discuss here financing activities. The first item to be added here is issue of share capital or debentures. Issue means that the value of share capital or debentures is increasing from previous year to current year. Okay. Sometimes the value of preference share capital or debenture decreases also. So that is called redemption of preference share capital or debentures, and the amount will be deducted. So the amount will come in bracket. The other item to be deducted here is interest on bank loan or debentures and payment of interim dividend and proposed dividend. And as usual, the amount will come in, the figure will come in brackets. Okay. Now whatever will be the result or the outcome of financing activity, you write down here in net amount column. If the result will be positive, you will write on cash flow from financing activity. If the result will be negative, you will write on cash used in financing activity and the figure will come in bracket. Now we have solved all three activities, that is A plus B plus A was operating, B was investing, C was financing. The net result will be called, if it will be positive, then it will be called net increase in cash and cash equivalent. If the result will be negative, then it will be considered net decrease in cash and cash equivalent. So you mark a line here and write on the result. Okay, as usual. Now we will add in this opening balance of cash in hand, cash in bank, and short-term investments or marketable securities. Okay, so you mention here the amount, net amount column below that, right? Now, what will you get? You will get closing balance of cash in hand, cash in bank, or short-term investments or marketable securities, which is another name of short-term investments. So this will be your net result actually. Okay. Now let us see the items to be added or subtracted in notes to accounts in order to get the first part of operating activity, which was net profit before tax and extraordinary items. The items to be added here are balance as per statement of P&L, provision for tax but of current year, proposed dividend but of previous year, interim dividend, and extraordinary item debited to statement of P&L. So these items will be added here. Okay. Now what are the items to be subtracted? The first one is extraordinary item credited to statement of P&L or refund of income tax credited to statement of P&L. And because these two items we are going to subtract, so we are writing down in bracket. Okay. Now whatever will be the net result of all these additions or subtractions, you will mention here and post in cash flow statement in the very first part of operating activity. I hope this entire format is clear to you now.